Barb here with barbstamps.com on a Thursday evening for my regularly scheduled free live stamping class. If I'm live on a Thursday night, it most likely is 4 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 Central, and 7 Eastern. So if you are ever missing my lives, you can take those times whatever time zone you're in, and you'll know that on those times on Thursday evening, I should be here, barring any unforeseen circumstances or things like a holiday or something like that. Because obviously, if it's Christmas or something, I'm not going to be here, and you probably aren't either. Let's see here. Today is the last day of July. Who can believe that right now, really? I certainly can't. My husband's birthday is coming up on Saturday. So he's old. He's not as old as me, which he likes to tell me frequently enough, as does my little brother. But so it's kind of a funny joke in our family. So they're not being mean by it. It's just kind of a funny little joke. So my husband is 5 years younger than me. I know, horrors. But you know, when you're 60, almost 60, and he's almost 55, does it even matter? I think not. Although it's kind of funny. Sometimes these random things just come into my brain as I'm talking to you guys. When we first started dating, I was 28 and he was 23. His mom did not like me. She did not like me. I think she felt like I would take advantage of her little boy. I guess, I don't know, because I was so much older than him. But she warmed up to me, and now she loves me, and I love her too. So things are great. But yeah, sometimes that just will pop back into my head, and I'm like, oh yeah, she did not like me. How could you not like this, right? This sparkling, beaming personality. Come on, right? Anyway, things are fine now. She loves me, I love her, and all is good. And now that we're old, it doesn't matter that I'm 5 years older than him. Anyways, so for his birthday, I can tell you guys, because he will never see this, I got him the complete set of DVDs of Simon and Simon. He likes those old TV shows. He really likes old TV shows. And I realize Simon and Simon probably isn't like super old, but I mean, for us, 80s, 90s, like right now he's watching Chips, which is from the 70s. He just likes these older shows, and he really likes Gerald McCraney. So we were talking about this a number of months ago, that he wished that we could find a streaming service that he could watch them on, but you cannot find a streaming service. And so I was looking around online to try to see if there was any place where, you could buy them where it's not like incredibly expensive. And so I ended up finding the complete set on eBay. I know $50 is a lot of money, but the beauty of that is after we watch them all, I'm going to put it back on eBay and hopefully sell it. Obviously, I won't sell it for $50, but I mean, if I could even get, $30 for it, then it really only cost me $20. So that's my plan. I did that with Miami Vice. We bought Miami Vice, and I am now selling my Miami Vice on eBay. Hopefully somebody buys it. Yes. So that I can justify buying Simon and Simon, right? So he is going to be really excited about that, because he's been watching Chips, as I think I told you guys. It's free on Amazon if you have Prime. And he's just almost to the end of season 4. I believe there's 6 seasons of it total, but I think the last season, Larry Wilcox is not in that at all. So I don't know if he's going to still watch that 6th season or not, because I think he kind of likes the dynamic between, Ponch and John. And if John's not there, then it might not be as good. I don't know. But either way, then he'll have his Simon and Simon to watch. So yay. So there's some other shows that I have been looking for. Heart to Heart. Some of you guys might remember that show with, oh my gosh, Robert Wagner and Stephanie, I believe her name was. Stephanie something. That was another one that we really, really liked, and we'd like to find that. Again, you can't find it streaming anywhere, at least not that I have found. So that might be the next purchase. We'll see. So anyways, we've got that going on. Oh my gosh, I just had to kill a tiny spider running across my desk. Ew, with my bare hands. So sorry that you had to witness that. Ugh. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, my son is in the market for a new vehicle. He's been checking out Stephanie Powers. Thank you, Mary. Yes. And Kim, thank you guys. I could not, that name just could not, I couldn't get that to come out. You know how that is sometimes? Like I can see her face plain as day, but I could not think of what her last name was. So that was also a great show and I loved it. And I really would like to watch that again. My son's buying a new vehicle. So he's been test driving some things. I know, a bee or a wasp. Ugh. I would have lost my mind, Cheryl. I literally would have had to stop this live and start screaming curse words and then get the vacuum cleaner out. So I'm glad it wasn't a wasp too, because that would have been just too much for me to handle. So he's going to be buying a new vehicle, so that's good. He's trying to buy it on his own with his own credit. He's got a pretty good credit score, so hopefully he'll be able to get that on his own. We'll see. I mean, obviously I will help him with a cosign if I need to. My daughter got an email earlier this week that her application to become a CPA has been, what's the term that they used? Not approved, but some term that it has to go to this next place. And then she should get notified within 10 days that she is in fact a licensed CPA in Colorado. So just lots of fun things going on here. We're pretty happy that nothing crazy is going on, knock on wood. My husband's family is on our family vacation to Swan Lake that I used to go on every year until our camper got kind of tore up by a branch and we had to get rid of it. And we've just never purchased a new one. It's just one of those things I can't justify the expense of something like that to only use it for 1 week out of the year, because I just don't think we would go camping any other time. And it's a really expensive purchase. So I'm kind of jealous that they're all up there enjoying a beautiful lake while I'm here under a thunderstorm warning, which I'm sure lots of you guys are too, because it's been crazy, crazy thunderstormy weather this week here. I think we've had thunderstorms almost every night this week, which at the end of July is kind of crazy. It should be like super hot, you know what I mean? So, but I'll take the moisture as long as it doesn't come with lightning. Then I am fine with that. So we'll see what happens. Okay. What else is going on? I mean, that's really it. Nothing. My husband's birthday. I will be making him. He likes German chocolate cake. So because nobody else in our house, which is me, because I'm the only other person in the house, I don't like German chocolate cake. So typically what I do is I make him German chocolate cupcakes. And then we can freeze some of them and then he can just take them, you know, he eats so many of them right now. And then, you know, in a few weeks, I'll take a few out of the freezer and he can enjoy them again. And then I'll take the few more out of the freezer and he can enjoy them again. So it works out really well. So I'll be making his German chocolate cake cupcakes tomorrow night while he's at work. So that when he comes home for his break, he can have a little surprise, even though his birthday's not till Saturday. I'll let him have this one early, you know. Sounds like lots of you guys have had, Tony said they had 104 yesterday and 64 today in rain. Isn't that crazy how the weather is just fluctuating all over the place? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We've been having lots of kind of flooding and runoff in the fire area that we had last year. We had that horrible, horrible fire up on the mountain. So there's nothing there to stop the water from rushing down and taking, you know, the soil and stuff with it. And then it is flooding the little town that's at the base of the mountain there. So that's not so great for them. So we have our fingers crossed that the thunderstorms go on the other side of the mountain where there is trees and stuff to catch all that. So we'll see what happens. I think I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera because I have some birthday cards to share with you. My birthday was about 10 days ago. And then I got this super cool gift from one of my team members that I cannot wait to show you guys because it was so much fun for me. So let me flip my camera and we will get busy here. And then of course I'll have to clip my hair back because as you know, I always have to clip my hair back. All right, so we'll give it the old double tap there. Whoops, tap again, silly thing. Okay, let me get this thing leveled up. There it is. Okay, let me start with this fabulous gift that my team member sent me. So I got a text from her on my birthday that said I had a sugar wish waiting for me and I got to choose what I wanted. I was very intrigued. I was like, what? So I clicked on the link and it went to the Sugar Wish website where I got to choose 4 treats to be in my Sugar Wish box. And isn't this just the cutest box? I don't know if you can guys see this scalloped edge here on the box is just so cute. And so I got to choose what I wanted. So this is what I chose to be in my box. Lemon heads, Swedish fish, Tootsie Roll flavored Tootsie Rolls and Reese's Pieces, because those are my favorite things. So I picked those things, and then the box came to my house like 4 or 5 days later. Isn't that so fun? And there's a decent amount of treats in here, and each box has a cute little saying, or each little container has a cute little saying underneath. And there's other things that you can put in. You can have like soaps and spa things, or snacks like popcorn and nuts and whatever. But I'm a candy person, so I chose the candy. So anyways, Kathy, thank you so much. That was like one of the funnest birthday gifts I've gotten in a super long time. So here we are with some cards. This is a card from Diana. Diana wanted to purchase a share of my color or two-tone card stock, but she wanted to mail me cash, which that's fine. So she sent me this fun card with her cash. So thank you, Diana. This is a birthday card from my team member, Barbara. Barbara is, we call Barbara the fun fold queen on our team because she makes the most incredible fun folds. Look at that card. How fun is that? Isn't that fun? So I may have to figure out how to make that. We may have to do that. Then we have this card here. This is from Sherry. So Sherry sent me a nice little note here for my birthday, and this really cute card. Love, love black and pink together. So much fun. This card is from my team member, Denise, a birthday card. Love what she did here with this. Very nice. Then we have this card. This is from my team member, Susan, another birthday card. Love what she did with this card. Love the shimmer on there for sure. Wink of Stella is always a favorite. We have this card from Terry, another birthday card. How pretty is that? Love the berry burst and the stamping she did on that. This card here is from Lisa. Lisa made me this fun card with the retired rustic crate. Love that thing. And then, of course, the extraordinary Flora washi tape. This one is from Margaret, or Peg as she goes by. Look how fun that is. With that older set, I believe. I can't remember. It had the windmill in it. I can't remember. This is from who? This is from my team member, Roseanne. Love the butterfly and how she used that Charming Day paper. We've got this one here. This is from my dear friend, Teresa. She always sends me a Starbucks card every year, and this year was no different. Teresa, you're the bomb. Thank you so much. I'm going to visit my daughter later in August, and I am taking that with me because her and I love going to Starbucks together. I got this card here from Kathy. Love that. So cute with the, what is that even called? I was going to use it for something today. It's called, oh, for heaven's sakes, Bright Borders. Love that. So thank you to Kathy. This one is from Priscilla. This is one of Kelly's team members. She sent me this beautiful card. Love, love, love that butterfly. So thank you, Priscilla. This one is from Judy. Love that. So thank you so much, Judy. And my last birthday card is from another Lori. Maybe this is, I said Lisa. This is from Lori. This is that older rainbow set that we had, and then the Bright Skies Sun. So much fun. So thank you guys so much for all that. I appreciate it so much. You guys are awesome. All right, down to business. Starting on August 5th, we have our In Color products promotion. I believe it's anything that has an in color in it. So like if there's a Packet Designer Series paper and one of the colors is Timid Tiger, that paper counts. Along with, of course, the actual in colors themselves, the pads, the markers, the paper, all that kind of stuff. So those products are going to be 15% off in the month of August while supplies last. Cheryl says she got the two-tone cardstock yesterday. Yay, glad to hear that. Love me some two-tone cardstock. I just updated my retired items section on my blog, you guys, with like over 50 items. And so you can find that at barbstamps.com/shop. I have a ton of bundles that I put on there. Most of them are around $20. So that's a good deal if you're looking for some retired bundles. Lots of DSP I put on there. What else did I put on there? Some stamp sets, some ribbon. What else? Some DSP, some card kits that I had, just a bunch of things. And anyways, barbstamps.com/shop. I don't know if I have a link in the description of this video. If I don't, I will get it in there after I'm done. But yeah, check that out for some great deals. Ordering, when you guys order from me, any online order that you place in my Stampin' Up store, any size order, gets you my tutorial of the month. And for the month of August, it is the Spooky Halloween. So there's 10 cards that you'll get a PDF for. If your order is $20 or more, obviously you're going to get Stampin' Rewards to go with that. $35 or more, you will be invited to the Stamp Happy Party. If you order from me in July, you'll be getting the invite for the party on August 13th. $50 or more, you will also get my Global Creative Product or Tutorial Bundle. This is the new, what am I trying to say? The latest release of online exclusives is what we worked on for this tutorial. So that's really fun. And speaking of Stamp Happy Academy, we have reduced the price in case you guys were not aware. It's only $20 a month and you get everything. Dina was live on Tuesday, I believe, and shared some amazing cards. And I'm going to be live next Friday night. I will be live on there with my live in August. And then we have our Charming Day class just posted. And then the PDF for our Stamp Happy Party will be posting there after we have the party on the 13th. And if you were not aware, we are having our Stampin' Bingo coming up in August. It's on the 20th. And we have a make and take packet that if you purchase that, then you can play bingo with us. Stamp Happy Academy members can watch for free. They don't have to do anything if they want to watch, but anybody else that wants to watch that's not Stamp Happy Academy, you would have to purchase the kit, which would also allow you to play bingo. Now, if you are a member of Stamp Happy Academy, you can absolutely purchase the kit, which will allow you to actually play also. So that's coming up on the 20th of August, and I do have a link in the description of this video. We're going to be using the Perfectly Pairs bundle and the Label Me Grateful bundle in our cards for that. Charming Day class went out. Some of them went out last week. Some of them went out this week. We still have some left over. If you're interested in a kit using the Charming Day bundle, the link is in the description. I always have adhesive kits for sale for you guys. You know that. And I just came up with something else. I'm calling it a fine detail glue kit. And I'm going to explain to you what this does. This is something that this was shared. One of Dina's team members shared it at their team meeting, I think last month. I believe it was originally created by a lady from the UK. Her YouTube channel is NB Cards, and she came up with this. So what this is this is a silicone basting brush. I just trimmed off the bristle so that it was just kind of blunt here. And then you need a silicone mat and some liquid glue. And so what you would do is I've got one that's kind of here ready to go almost. This stuff ready to be peeled off. But what you do is you take your glue and you get it onto your silicone mat. You just kind of spread some out there. And then you take one of these tools and, oh, whoops, this isn't what I wanted to use because that one's, I want to show you how I clean it off. You take one of these tools and you dip it into the glue. And then you take your fine detail die cut and you want to hold it in place. And then you just kind of tap the bristles onto the cardstock, and that gets glue onto it. I think there's glue on there. And then all I have to do is add it to my card or my layer, whatever I'm doing, with very little mess. Here's something else I've got that I'll share with you. This is a piece of our Lost Lagoon two-tone cardstock, and I have the word hello that I die cut out of the Lost Lagoon two-tone cardstock. So I have the two-tone cardstock light layer that I'm going to put the dark letters on. And so I do have these little kits for sale, the silicone mat, the brush, and the glue. I have a link in the description for you. They're on my blog. And yeah, it's just a pretty interesting thing. So shout out to NB, whoever she is. I believe she's from the UK, for kind of sharing this with everyone because it's really cool. And so, yeah, you just kind of tap, tap, tap on it, get some glue on there. And then you can just take these fine detailed die cuts and just make them so much fun to use. Now, because I know that a lot of people, I am pretty handy with the liquid glue myself, but not everybody is. Some people struggle with using it, and I get it. It's kind of hard to do that. And so this is just a great way to get some glue onto your die cuts. And the great thing about this little brush is because it's silicone, when the glue dries, you can just pull it right off. You can just take it off. So I will show you. I got some glue over here that I was working with earlier. And so we will use that. And then that other brush that I had also had some glue. And so you can see how fun and easy that is. And I'm not messy. I don't have, glue all over myself. I don't have glue squirting out all underneath my, my detailed die cuts. It's just super simple. This is another stamp set that I thought would work really well for that, is these little rainbows would also be a good candidate for something like this. So how do you get this off? You can do one of two things. You can roll it up, which is pretty easy. Once it dries, it just rolls right off. But sometimes, like right here, I have all these little dots and they're harder to roll up. So what I have found works really well is to take just a piece of Scotch tape and press it onto that leftover glue. And then it pretty much comes right off. See how easy that is? Because sometimes those little dots are harder to roll up, or maybe you don't want to get glue on your hand. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't like that feeling or something like that. I totally get it. And so using the tape makes that super simple. The tape also, this brush does have glue on it. I think you can see that. You can also use the tape if you just kind of press your bristles. Look at all that glue that was left in my brush. And just by using the tape, you can get your brush to be pretty much completely clean just by pressing it onto a piece of tape. So definitely a no mess way of going about doing that. So if you're interested in getting a kit, otherwise, you can purchase these on Amazon. The ones I got came in a pack of 5, I think. They weren't very expensive. And so obviously, if you do get the kit, the colors will vary between blue, red, orange, purple, and green, I think are the colors that I had. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that little tip with you guys because I am going to be using it on one of the projects here tonight. So now you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. Get that stuff out of the way there. All right, so my first project, my daughter has a friend who's getting married, and she asked me if I could make a wedding card for her. And I said, you know that I can. I said, are there any parameters? And she said, no, do whatever you want. So I said, yay, I can definitely do whatever I want. Let's see, what do we have here in the comments? Anything exciting? Okay, tape. Yes, the tape is a really good, is your friend for lots of different things, you guys. I love Scotch tape. Okay, so we're going to use a Lifetime of Love because it is the only stamp set or dice or whatever set that I have that's got anything to do with weddings. And so we're going to be using this. And it just so happens that the die cut in this is pretty detailed, and we will be able to use our fun new tool that we just have here. So what do I have? It's kind of a fun fold-ish card. So I've got a card base. This is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is our thick white for my card base. I have some, oh, thank you. This is called a paperclip bracelet, and it is sold by the company called Pura Vida. If you guys are familiar with Pura Vida bracelets, they do have this cute little paperclip bracelet, and I love it too. This is my second one. I wear it all the time. I don't take it off. I shower with it and everything. The first one that I had, I probably lasted a couple of years before it started to kind of tarnish a little bit. So I have high hopes for that. Anyways, that's where I get my bracelets, is from Pura Vida. Okay, then I have a piece of fresh freesia. This is 9 inches by 3 1/4, and I have scored it at 4 1/2. And so I'm just going to fold this over and burnish that down. So this is my little fun fold part. I also have a piece of Designer Series paper. This is out of the, it's not Charming Day, it's Floral Charm. The Floral Charm, the paper that goes with the Charming Day. This is one of the backside patterns, as you can see, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. So we're going to obviously put that on our layer of white. Then I have another pattern from this, the Pura Vida. No, it's just PURAVIDA.com. PuraVida.com is where I get all these bracelets. A lot of places, like Cheryl, you probably have a Pura Vida store somewhere near Fort Collins, I would imagine. If you wanted to go and actually look in a store, you probably could find a Pura Vida store around where you are. If you guys are near Disney World, they have a Pura Vida store in Disney Springs. Yeah, they're all over the place, but you can also order online. That's what I do because I don't have a store. This piece here, this is 4¼ by 6, and I've scored it at 1.5 and then 4.5. And then you just fold that up and have those two sides meet together. Okay. So that's one of the fun pieces that we're going to use. Then I also have a piece of white that's going to go inside this. This is 2¾ by 4. And then I have 2 die cuts that are from the die set. So this is the main die cut here. This is out of Blackberry Bliss. And then I have one out of Mossy Meadow. And so this is where I'm going to use my silicone mat and the glue, the thing that we were just talking about, because I want my leaves on that die cut to be Mossy Meadow. So I need to cut this, trim it off a little bit so that it will be on there. And then this, I need this little leaf here, which is going to be by itself. There it is. I got to save that. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to come around and we're going to get that. So here is a leaf, that's a leaf, and then we're going to come over on this side here and get one as well. And let's see, where do I want to cut this off at? I feel like I need to cut it off right here. Okay, so this we don't need. So again, we're going to come back in, we're going to add some glue up here, and then we're going to bring in our bristly brush, and we're going to add some glue to this little leafy piece here. And again, I'm just kind of tapping, trying to get, you know, a bunch of glue on my brush. And then I'm just going to get glue on my little detailed piece here. Bring this other detailed piece in, and I'm just going to lay this right on top. I mean, even for me, as handy as I am with liquid glue, this is way easier than trying to be, you know, dealing with liquid glue. And if you need to use tweezers, the tweezers work real well with this too. Some people, and I can see myself needing tweezers in the future as my, you know, my hands don't work as well and whatnot. Okay. And then we need to get this little guy, so we'll get some more glue here. Kind of hold that down, because you don't want this to kind of flip up and down on the glue that you're putting down, because then glue will get on the front, and then of course that kind of defeats the whole purpose of trying to keep it not so gluey. All right, and then we're just going to come over here and add this to this piece here. There we go. And that's what we have. And now we have our floral piece with green leaves rather than purple, which, I mean, purple leaves aren't terrible, so it's fine. Okay, so next I need to do some embossing with some words. And I do this quite frequently with lots of different things, whether it's just different random ink colors or different embossing. I didn't know if I wanted this to be white, which is what I ultimately decided to go with, was the white. But I also thought copper might look kind of cool. So what I did was I just embossed, you know, some copper on the same color cardstock, and then I could lay it on there and I could look at it. What I didn't like about it was it doesn't really pop. You know what I mean? The phrase doesn't really like stick out and say, you know, it's like, pow, here's what I want to say to you. And so the white definitely does. So that's why I'm going to go with white. But I do this all the time. Even with just like regular ink colors, I'll stamp them on white and trim around them real quick and throw them on my project just to sort of see if I like that color or not. And that way I'm not like screwing up my whole layer. Because like if I would have embossed copper on this whole piece here, then it's kind of, you know, then it becomes a scrap. So if I just use a scrap to begin with, then I can totally tell which way I want to go. And I definitely wanted to go white. So let me get my embossing supplies here. I've got my Embossing Additions Toolkit, which is gives me my little embossing buddy here that I'm going to sprinkle on there before we ink that up. And then my sentiment piece here, we're going to ink up in Versamark. And my theory on Versamark, for anyone who's new that's never watched me before or maybe has forgotten, when I ink up a stamp in Versamark, I ink it up until I think it's got enough ink, and then I always add more. Because I just don't feel like you can ever have too much Versamark on your stamp when you're doing this. Okay, so now because I want to make sure that I get my placement correct, I'm going to lay this on where I would have glued it down. Whoops. It moved on me, you little stinker. And we're going to have to add more ink. This like just fits on here perfectly. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit more ink here. And then we are going to stamp this. I need to scooch this down so that I'm looking straight down on it. We're going to stamp this about like this. So I'm going to press it down. I'm going to leave it for a few seconds to hopefully get all that ink transferred to my cardstock. Hopefully I didn't screw it up and, wiggle it too much. And now I'm just going to add my Wow embossing powder here. And I like to kind of tap it a little bit just to make sure that the embossing powder gets all over that Versamark. Give it a little flick. Obviously, I did not do my embossing buddy up there. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Let me grab my heat tool here. Put the lid on my embossing powder because Lord knows I don't need embossing powder flying all over. I'm going to fire it up and let it get hot for a second. While it's getting hot, I'm going to open this up and kind of hold it. Whoops. I was stepping on my cord. All right, embossing, as we all know, is the coolest thing ever, and it never gets old. So I can totally watch this melt. It's a pretty fine line of stamping here, so it does melt pretty quickly. Make sure we get it all. We don't want to have any powder flicking off when we're done. Okay, so now I'm going to let my card cool down. I'm going to kind of put it back where it needs to be. There we go. So while that's cooling off, I'm going to bring my glue sheet back in here. And we need a little more glue because our glue is dried up. So we're going to just add some more glue there. And now we're going to add glue to this. So we're going to get some glue on there. Come around the top there, and then we can start getting our little pieces on the flowers. Okay. And then we can bring in our card. And then I'm going to add this right here. All right, there we go. Okay, press that down. I'm going to give that a nice crisp fold. And there we have our front layer. So we can add these two pieces. So this is our designer series paper. So we'll go ahead and throw that on the front here. This was 4 by 5 1/4. I think I said that, but then I don't remember for sure. Okay. And then we're going to add this to the card as well. And we'll try centering it as best we can here. There we go. Get that all pressed into place. And then on the inside, we're going to have our white layer. And for my white layer, I have another sentiment from the stamp set. And this says something I can't remember. We're going to find out momentarily, but I'm inking it up in Night of Navy. And we're going to stamp this in the center here at the top. Congratulations on your wedding day. And then we can just add that to the inside, and she can write whatever little message she might want to write to her friend. And there we go. So we'll get this centered in there. I think that's centered. Yes, and then that's going to go on the inside. So this is kind of a fun fold. Oh my gosh, I put that on backwards. Oh, can I get it off? Oh, come on, come on, come on. Work with me, work with me, work with me, work with me. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh. Or I meant upside down. I put it on upside down because the paper definitely is directional. Woo! There we go. Okay, and now this will fit right inside here. So it's just kind of a fun, interesting fold that I think is kind of fun. There we go. And so this is what we'd have. We also need something for some gems of some sort. I probably need to heat set this, put my heat tool on this while it's closed so that the paper wants to take on that same weight. But I wasn't sure if I wanted, I don't think Mossy Meadow is the vibe for this. And these are pretty close. Maybe those sequins. Let's just see. We'll take a look-see here and we'll see what we think. This is a small one, so maybe we could do the big ones up here. Yes. Maybe we could do 1 and 1. And maybe 1 up there. Something like that. And then how we have it. How fun is that? Okay. Let me clean up a little bit. I'm just going to move my embossing powder over to another section here. Okay. Get all these pieces and parts out of the way so we can bring in our next project. This is going to use a few random things that wouldn't necessarily always be considered together. We are using the Pretty Florals bundle, so that's the stamp set, and then the dies. And I am using the Hey You Made My Day out of the Charming Day stamp set. And then I just got these label dies in, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't get the stamps that go with them. I thought, oh, I don't need the stamps. So I didn't get the stamps. I think I need the stamps. So they'll probably be on my next order. We'll see. Anyways, these are, what are these even called? Paper tags die. So I did use the large die out of this. This kind of scallopy one that's kind of cute with a little heart tab there. So let's move these things out of the way. So I did use one of the designs, or 2 of the designs of paper out of this kit here. So this is the same card base as the last card, but this is actually a full card base, 5.5 by 8.5. And then I have a piece of Secret C, and I can't remember what this measures. This is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then this DSP is 3 3/4 by 5, it should be. So this is the pattern that I chose for this card. And then I did die cut my paper tag out of this pattern here. So it should match. And then I die cut a paper tag out of Secret C because I wanted a little bit of backing on that, and I'll share that in a minute. And then I did get the little heart. I don't know if I'm going to need that or not, but okay. So this is a pretty quick card to put together. It's mostly just die cutting, so I think I'm going to do some gluing here. Get these. Can't see the edge of my card with my other stuff in the way because it's a pretty thin border here. It's like a 1/16 of an inch is all that we're going to have around this. Okay. And then this, I wanted to pull this down just a little bit. So I'm going to trim this. I'm going to cut right across here. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of glue at the base here on these little scallops. And then when I put this down, I can put it down so I have just a tiny little bit sticking out of the bottom, just to give that a little more interest. There we go. Joanne says she loves the DSP for this. I do too. This is so fun. Joan, you are so welcome. Joan got some of my two-tone card stock, and she must have gotten it. So yay! All right, so I think I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm going to cut through this. and add a little glue up here as well. And we're just going to have just a tiny bit showing, just like I said, just to add some interest to the tag. So it's just a little bit. Whoops, I need a little more than that. What the heck? Okay. Then I'm going to take the heart and I'm going to put it into the paper. I'm going to take a piece of tape and I'm going to add that so that my little heart is now inside there as well. So these are scraps. We don't need those. So that's going to go on our card base like that. And then if you have this bundle, with Pretty Florals, you'll know that there are a lot of different flowery pieces in here. And you might recognize this as the first thing that I glued using our fun little glue thing here. I'm trying to find it again. I can't. Oh, here it is. So this is the large flower that's in this die set. You've got this piece here and this piece here, and they go together. You've got some different leaves, some little foliage pieces. We've got this little thing here, this little stem thing here. So I did use this stem piece, this, and this. And then I have all these pieces that are die cut. Now I did use Summer Splash two-tone cardstock. And I did the light side with this die here. And then for the middles of the flowers, I used the dark side so that I have like the two tones, the two colors. And I can just add these pieces at the bottom. And I cannot ever remember how these go together. So this one here, I believe is this. They do fit on the bottom. You just have to kind of place them on there and then you can sort of see. So look how cool that two-tone cardstock is, where it's just the two different shades. I love this stuff. I use it a lot. All right, so then we have this piece that goes with this. And I still do have two-tone cardstock shares if anybody didn't get any. And I did have to revamp one of my packages because the multi-packs that I was using to cut up with sold out. So my package one is now different. It's just a bunch of colors, a bunch of different colors that I kind of put together to make a package. Okay, so there's all of our flowers. And now for this, I could use this again if, again, like it's one of those things that you are not very good with a glue bottle. Look at this. That is actually just the most satisfying thing ever. Getting all that glue off that brush. Oh, yeah. I love that. And then into the trash it goes. So I could use a little bit more glue here because I want to add some glue to the tops of these little spots here. Oops, we might have some over there too. There we go. And we'll bring our flowers back in. And I think I'm going to go with this one in the middle, in the top. And then this one actually over that one. Like that. And then this one will be like so. So we have our 3 flowers, and we're just going to put those onto our label. And I'm going to use dimensionals, I think, for this. So since those 2 are already together, we'll just leave it together. And those are kind of together. And then I'm going to try to put some slivers of dimensional here. If you get the minis have edges, and you can use your scissors to get some tiny little snips. And Patricia got her 2-tone cardstock. Yay, everybody's getting their 2-tone cardstock. This is awesome. I hope you guys love it as much as I do. I really have been enjoying it. It works really, really well with flowers. I guess flowers is like one of my favorite ways to use it because then you can do like what I did on this card here, where you can really get some nice dimension with your flowers. But it does work well for lots of other fun techniques as well. Like the sanding technique is pretty cool. And just stamping on it is pretty cool. All right, let's see if that's going to work for me. Okay, now that actually did not work. I'm going to try to pull this off because it's sticking out, and I don't really think I can get that any smaller than what I had there. So we're just going to wing that little spot. Okay. And so we're going to have the card something like that, the tag something like that, the flowers something like this. Okay. And then I have a knot of ribbon that I tied with the peach pie. Kim said she ordered the mixed packs, and I still have mixed packs. It's just that I was using Stampin' Up. A lot of times will offer, or maybe you just meant you ordered the mixed packs when they had them. Yeah. When they had them on sale, that makes perfect sense. Yes. And some of the mixed packs are no longer available, which is a huge bummer. So I had to just make my own mixed pack. Okay, so we have that. Now we're going to add some more dimensionals because I think we need dimensionals on this tag. So maybe we'll finish up this sheet. I don't know. It's going to be pretty dang close if we don't. No, we're not going to. It's pretty close, though. It's very satisfying using up a sheet of dimensionals, you guys. Okay. And then we're just going to throw the tag on there. And then we'll add this to the card. And then we shall add this to the front. Okay. And then for my sentiment, like I said, I'm using a couple of little phrases from the Charming Day. And I have a little die cut from the Stylish Shapes. And this is the second to smallest circle. And I'm going to stamp this, I think, in Secret C. So I am going to do the hay up here at the top of the circle. And then the You Made My Day underneath that. Okay. There we go. And then I'm just going to add this little label right there. And I don't think I'm going to use dimensionals. I think I'm just going to use some glue. And we'll just scooch that under there. Or I wonder if I want to go over. Do I want to go over or under? I kind of feel like maybe it needs to be over. Something like that, maybe? Oh, whoops. Hello. My glue did not stick yet. Okay, we need to make sure that this is straight. Okay. Then we have some more stamps from the set. Oh, keep your glue mat like out of your area unless you clean it off first, because if you don't, and like I was to stick my card on top of it, then I'm going to get glue on the back. So yeah, I'm just going to move this out of the way and then we'll come back and maybe mess around with it. So, okay, we need to do the inside. So there are some fun images in this stamp set, the Pretty Florals. This is one of them. Let me grab my scratch paper because I want to stamp this down towards the bottom. And I'm going to use Secret C again for my stems and flowers. There we go. And now these little flowers here. I'm going to stamp this in some Summer Splash full strength on top of these little flower stems here. There we go. And then this one I'm going to ink up, and then I'm going to stamp it off once. And actually I should probably be using a foam mat here because these images are photopolymer. Okay, so I'm going to stamp it off once, and then I can see over the top to then stamp that again. And there we have that. Close up these ink pads. All right, and then my final trick on this card is going to be some loose gold sequins. And we are going to try let me see here. I want to put them on the tag only. I kind of think yes. We're going to try it. So I need to squeeze out tiny little dots of glue. And then maybe one over here. Okay. Where's my take your pick tool? Let me throw some out here on my desk. This is a bigger one. That's what I want right here. And then a small one. Are they all, they're small? Is there small, medium, and large? Or just small and, no, there is medium. Is this smaller than the one I just stuck on there? I think maybe a tiny bit. Maybe it's not. Anyways, that's how I finished that card off. So we have the fun outside and then the fun inside. Loving that two-tone cardstock again. And let me just sort of pick these up. Sometimes if you have just a little bit of glue or stickiness on your finger, you can pick those right back up with your finger and throw them right back in the container. Okay, what else? My next card is already done, but I wanted to share it with you anyway because it's kind of cool. So I don't know if you guys have seen these fun treat bags. They are the iridescent treat bags. They kind of go with the spooky Halloween set. And this is what they look like just as a treat bag. Okay. But I started thinking to myself this afternoon, what would it look like if I put a piece of white cardstock inside that bag and then made a card out of it? Well, this is what it looks like. Is that not the wildest thing? Yeah, I put a piece of, oh, there's something on my treat bag. What did I get on there? Is that glue? Ugh. Let me get my shirt in here and see if I can rub that off without. Yeah, okay. So look how cool that is. It's like depending on the angle of the light, it totally changes the whole thing. So anyway, this is a slightly less than 4 inches by 5 1/4 that slid right into the bag, and then I folded it to the back. Before I put my piece of paper in there, I stamped the butterfly on it from the Beautiful Butterflies stamp set. So I stamped that in black, slid it into the bag, folded over the edge, and this is what you get. And it is just the wildest looking card. I think it's the coolest thing ever. So then I decided to wrap some of this petunia pop ribbon around it because I felt like it kind of matched, you know what I mean? And then I pulled a little sentiment out of the bright borders that says, "Yay, so happy for you." And it doesn't fit perfectly on this little circle, but I think it's good enough. You know what I mean? It worked out pretty good. And then for my gems, I took these antique pearls. They're very shiny, and I colored them with a black Stampin' Blend and stuck them on top of the bag. And then I just added the sentiment from the butterfly set and the butterfly inside. But yeah, so I mean, honestly, I don't know. What if you stuck a different color in there? Hold on. What if we put like, oh, I don't know, yellow maybe or something? Let me grab a piece of Daffodil Delight and let's just sort of see what yellow would look like in there. If it's like the same or if it's completely different. Come on, get in there. This is just a scrap, so obviously it's not gonna be the whole thing. But ooh, that's kind of interesting, isn't that? That's just. What if we put black in there? What would black look like? This might be. Oh no, it's fine. Ooh, black is just mostly yellow. Yellowy green is what black kind of does to it. That is just wild. What other color could we put in there? Pink? If we stuck some pretty in pink in there. Oh, my scrap isn't big enough. Hold on. Maybe we could just sort of slide this into the end. It's almost the same as the white, just a little bit more pinky, less yellow, I would say. But anyway, how fun is that? So, I mean, if you have these treat bags and you're thinking, oh my gosh, what can I do with them? This is something that you can do with them. So I think it turned out really well. And it literally took just minutes to put together because, you know, all the stamping is just behind the bag and so simple. You could even throw like some sequins or something inside there if you wanted it to be kind of a shaker card. That might be kind of cool. I don't know. Anyway, that is what I have for you guys tonight. Let me bring back in my other projects. push some of these things out of the way. So we have that and that. And I lost my wedding card and our wedding card. So how fun is that? And as my final trick, I'm going to bring back in my sheets and we'll get the glue off because I just really enjoy doing this. I just think it is the coolest thing to use a piece of tape and get it all off. And it works really, really well to get all those little bits off there. Yeah, and especially on your brush. Yeah, that's really cool. So again, if you're interested in a fine detail glue kit, is what I'm kind of calling it, you can find it on my website. Yeah. Let's see, is this the one I was using? I don't remember. Let's take a look here. And if it is, oh yes, I definitely did use that. And we're getting more glue out of this every time we stick it on there. So yeah, it's super, super easy to clean, which is crazy. So thank you guys for watching tonight. Appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you haven't already and share the video if you wouldn't mind. And I will see you guys again back here next Thursday. And maybe I'll just put glue on my brush just to dry it off and pull it off with a piece of tape. Who knows? All right, guys, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.